Hey guys, this is Sandra of the Alexandrite system. So a question I think comes up for a lot of newly discovered systems is, what if I'm faking? And the answer I always give to that question is, you're not. If you have to ask that question, it means that in all likelihood you didn't sit down and say, I'm going to pretend to have DID. Because faking a system has to be a conscious choice. One cannot accidentally pretend to do something. But I think the real root of this question isn't what if I'm faking, it's what if it turns out I don't have DID? What if I've somehow misinterpreted my symptoms? And for questions like these, I always find it helpful to examine what's the worst thing that can happen. I think this is a cognitive behavioral therapy thing. I remember doing this sort of thing with some therapists in the past, but I found it really, really helpful. So let's say over the first couple of months of discovering your system, you go to see a therapist or a psychiatrist and they tell you that you don't have DID, you have something else. You have borderline, you're schizophrenic, neither of which, by the way, rule out the possibility of DID. Those two things can be comorbid with DID. But let's say this psych professional says for certain you do not have DID, and you get a second opinion from another doctor, because you should when you have a diagnosis that you are unsure about, and they say, we can rule out DID. My question to you in this scenario is, does that mean your experiences didn't happen? Because regardless of what it actually is, you've experienced something. And whatever the name of it is, it doesn't change that fact that you experienced it. Now, it may require some reframing of those experiences, and maybe some different tools to help you, but those are still your experiences. That was all real. My second question in this scenario is going to be controversial. Who cares? My opinion is, if it helps you to think about yourself in this way, and it helps you to use the skills that a system would use to do mental healing, who cares? The important thing isn't posturing about diagnoses and your status in the system community. The important thing is healing and getting to a better place mentally. It's probably not best in this scenario to claim the DID label still. And you definitely shouldn't use it as an excuse to say like, oh, that wasn't me, that was this other part of me. You should be practicing system responsibility even if you're not a system, if that makes sense. But if it helps you and it's not actively hurting anyone else, who cares? Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.